So I'm Brad Levitt, president of A Finer Touch Construction, and you are joining us today at our Lake Lakes Commercial Development Project. This one's going to be fun. We're going to take you around, show you off-sites, on-sites, speak to the grading when you're developing raw dirt into commercial property, and how this pans out for all the tenants that will eventually occupy here. So one thing to think about, this is 8 acres of raw dirt. We're out here in South Chandler, and what happens is whenever you purchase a piece of land, which is what we did here, we have to work through zoning. So every city already has, in most developments, they have an idea of what they want. Within that zoning, whether it be industrial, commercial, residential, you're gonna have different things to work with at the city that they'll approve. So one thing that we're pretty lucky here is that they allowed us, and this is all retail, and they allowed us to have 4 drive-throughs. Now typically at most hard corners you're going to have 2 at the max. There's not very many cities that allow you to have more than 2, and that's a traffic control. However, with that said, and nowadays everyone wants something quick and easy, so we were able to get by with 4 drive-throughs, which really increases the value of the land. And for our tenants, most tenants want to have a drive-through. It increases revenue to their business. So we're fortunate to work with the city, get 4 drive-throughs. And the way it works, you look at a big pad like this, 8 acres, and it's zoned. So we have certain pads that'll be restaurant. Behind me here, we're gonna have some office. We actually sold one of the pads to the charter school. And there's a couple different ways to operate this. In real estate, you know, there's a land lease, and so sometimes your tenant or franchise will just wanna lease a pad on the property, and it could be a 15, 20-year lease, 10-year lease, and they're just leasing the land. Then they're responsible for their own construction, vertical construction budget. Otherwise, you can do a land sale, so we could separate the pad and sell that to the franchisee or the company themselves, and they own the pad and their own construction. Or it works as an owner-operated piece. So we would own the land, we would foot the bill for the vertical construction, and then you'd find the tenants. So in essence, you're a landlord and you have these tenants from food to retail to dentistry. And so every little company is different, how they want to leverage their assets or leverage their costs to run their business. So there's a lot of thought with that as you're working through zoning with the city, figuring out how everything lays out. And then of course, once you have a good game plan with the city of what buildings, the sizes of the buildings, and the use of those buildings, now you can hit the street and start marketing. So you can work with all these different companies and reps and brokers in your network, and you start filling the space. And so that's what we've done here. And we have Salad and Go is going to be coming in. We have Montessori, which is kids daycare. They're going to be coming in, and a lot of other businesses. So this is the fun part, because before they come in, of course, we have to get the pads ready. They have to be, each of the pads have to be built. They have to have utilities, right? Gas, power, water, as well as data. So Cox and CenturyLink are out here. So our job is, as we work with the city, we figure out the deceleration lanes. So we're increasing the lane width as people come in and make a right-hand turn into the development. And you'll see that as we go through construction, we have to tie in. So we're going to be tying in sewer, power, and with that, there's a lot of coordination, because you can see we have other tenants, other companies on the other corners. And as we tie into live power, as we tie in to live water and sewer, that impacts their business. And so there's a lot of coordination with them. And then where we're widening the streets or changing the bike lane or the deceleration lane, we're moving sidewalks, installing lighting, signage. There's a lot of coordination with the city to work when it's not so congested. So here we're going to be working, as we're doing the off-site work, we're going to be working from 10 p.m. till about 3 a.m. in hours when most of the businesses are closed, people are at home, and so we don't disturb any traffic. So one challenge that we had with the city, and this is really important to understand anytime you're thinking about commercial development, are the added costs. So the city, we had planned for the driveway to be right here, and this was going to be the driveway, which is right now where we have the track out for the construction. Well, in meeting with the city, for whatever rhyme or reason, it was important for us to move the driveway and the main entrance over about 20 feet. Well, they wanted to line up with this residential neighborhood, but here becomes the underlying issue for us as a developer and contractor, is you have our electrical transformers. So you can see that this is not an easy thing to move because these are right in the middle of our main driveway that's going to be coming into the development. So again, this is a lot of coordination, a lot of pre-site and pre-construction meetings with the power company. We're working with the SRP here, and we had to figure out, okay, where are we going to move the transformers? How are we going to hide them in the landscape? And then of course the cost, right? There's a major cost to get these moved, to get conduit pulled. We have to know where the feeds are coming in because either we have to run new conduit and home runs and feeds, or we can tap in and splice. So there's a lot of coordination as we're planning on that. And then of course our responsibility as a developer, the power company is not going to pull or install their own conduit. That's up to us. So all the conduit has to be installed, inspected per their specifications, and then they actually pull their own wire, set their own transformers, and they'll do the tie-in. But all that pre-work, pre-construction has to be done by us as the contractor. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Any support you give us is greatly appreciated.